Hello guys, got a video here for you today on FX magazines, and what we're going to be doing in this one is just talking about why some rifles like magazines, why others don't, and also why some rifles prefer single shot loading to magazines. Right then, so if you own one or more FX magazine, you'll probably know that some are better than others. Some magazines just seem to work better. So the most common source of this inaccuracy is the magazine spring tension being set too tight. So as you can see, this one's quite snappy. So I've just loaded a few pellets in there. So we imagine this drill bit here is our pellet probe. As the pellet probe pushes the pellet through, as we release the pellet probe through, the magazine indexes and smashes the pellet into that side of the magazine there. What that can do, and what it has done in this case, is put two marks in the pellet skirt, slightly deforming the pellet. So that may well be causing us some accuracy issues, especially at the longer ranges. The skirt's probably the most important part of the pellet, and any damage to that must be avoided. So we'll push these out. Right then, so I don't know how well this is going to show for camera, but if you look at them, all the pellet skirts are slightly elongated. So we see a flat on this side and a flat on this side on this one. Same on that one, you see this side of the skirt up here is flat, and then this bottom one here. Also two flats, one on either side. So that's not good and something we need to try and fix. So luckily it's quite easy with these FX magazines, we can just remove a little bit of the spring tension. So we do that with a 2.5mm Allen key, and we take out this screw here. There is a nut and a O-ring behind this, so as we take it out we've got to be careful. And there's also two springs and two ball bearings. So there's the nut on the back. There's the two ball bearings. There's the O-ring. When you take the screw off, make sure you keep the drum nice and secure, otherwise if you let it go it's likely to ping up and spin round on you. So we'll let the drum go and control its rotation nicely, and then we see this hook here is hooked in one of these four holes here. So these four holes are how you control your spring tension, and R1 was in the 6 o'clock position, and we want to decrease the spring tension, so we're going to move the spring round counterclockwise. So we're going to try it in the 3 o'clock position next. So that still feels a little tight for me. It's a bit snappy. So we're going to try it in the 12 o'clock position. So that feels a little better, but I'm going to see if we can go one more. And in the 3 o'clock position, there's not much spring tension there at all, so we're going to try it there. For the larger calibers with heavier pellets, you're obviously not going to have this luxury. As the 177 pellets are quite light, it really doesn't take a lot of spring tension to get the magazine to rotate round freely. But this is quite a common problem in the 177s, as the skirts are much thinner and much more likely to be damaged. So we're going to leave it there in the 3 o'clock position and see what that's like. So whilst keeping a finger on the drum, I'm just going to rotate the magazine, drop the O-ring in the hole and also the nut. Then on this side we're just going to drop the springs in, and then place the ball bearings over the top. Then take our lock and put it in the hole. Doing that up with a 2.5mm Allen key. You may need to put a little pressure on the nut on the back with your finger to get it to start. Then just do that up nice and tight. Make sure the cap rotates round freely, which it does, and also that the drum rotates round freely, also which it does. So we'll do the same test again, put in some pellets. So again with the drill bit, push the first one through, let the second one up. It looks better to me. There doesn't seem to be an obvious flat on there, but we'll have a proper look in a second. and this time it looks like the pellets are much rounder. I can't by eye see any flats on that one or on that one, and the third one that looks nice as well. So I think we've solved the problem of the flats, and that's just a close-up. So this pellet here is the pellet with the lower spring tension, and this one is the one with the higher. So you see we've got a flat on this side and a flat on this side, whereas this one, the skirt's nice and round. Right then, so now that we've reduced the spring tension on the magazine, I think we've made this one a bit better. We will have to test it again, obviously. We'll fill it up with pellets, make sure it feeds correctly and it doesn't get stuck, but I'm confident it will work. The other things to look out for in magazines are just any damage to the drum, and also any damage to this side of the hull or the hole in the magazine there. There really shouldn't be any burrs in there, but if there are, just have a look for them and clean them out. This is only plastic, so it shouldn't really affect the pellets, but you never can tell. So another cause for inaccuracy issues when using a magazine can actually be the transfer port itself. If the transfer port on this face here, where the countersink is exceptionally rough, it can cause damage to the pellet as it's fed in. You can normally feel this as you push the bolt probe home. You can feel it sort of gets a tight spot, then loose, then tight again. And that's as the pellet's fed into the face of the transfer port. It hits this, rides up the countersink, and then the skirt does the same. And on newer transfer ports, the countersink is much smaller. So you can see there, the countersink on this one, this is a new transfer port versus an older one. This one was fitted to my Mark 1 crown, and this barrel has always preferred single shot loading. But we can sort of make this problem better by giving the face of the transfer port a good polishing. So what I do normally with these transfer ports is come in here with a buffing wheel on the Dremel and just give the face and the countersink a good polish up. What this should do is just remove any lumps, bumps or burrs that are in the pellet's way as it's fed into the barrel. Right then, so I'll get this polished up off camera. It's really not that interesting. I'm just going to come in here with the Dremel. But then what I'll do is I'll get the barrel built up and we'll push a few pellets through to make sure that we're receiving no damage. Right then, so this is the Mark 1 crown. Did a little paint job on the stock. A little bit of digital camo on it. Nothing special. I just wanted to have a go of it. Don't worry, I didn't cover over the green laminate. This is just an old synthetic stock I had. But we've got a magazine there with a few pellets in it. But what I wanted to show you was that there was no sort of grabbing action as we push the bolt forward anymore. So the pellets are feeding in nice and smoothly. There's no grabbing points. You can just feel the pellet be fed into the liner, but there's no nasty notchy feeling anymore. It wasn't really bad before, but you could feel it as the pellet entered the transfer port. Right then, let's go about do it for this one, guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.